The film begins in 1192 in Ghazni, Afghanistan. At that moment, many people gather in a stadium to watch a fight. The crowd cheers louder as the king, Mohammed Ghori, sits on his throne to watch. Soon after, a captive named Prithviraj Chauhan, who was blind, is brought into the arena with Chand Bardai, a poet who is loyal to him. At that time, Ghori's general, Qutbuddin Aibak, tells Prithviraj to surrender to Ghori. But Prithviraj, a king from another land, refuses and challenges Ghori to a deadly duel. And Ghori, feeling angry, orders his soldiers to release a lion into the arena to attack Prithviraj. Even though he is blind, Prithviraj has sharp hearing, and he uses his axe to kill the lion. Not happy with this, Ghori sends 2 more lions at once. One lion runs at Prithviraj, but he quickly spears it. The second lion bites Prithviraj's leg and pulls him towards the edge of the arena. Chand, not wanting his king to die, shouts that there is a spearhead nearby. With Chand's help, Prithviraj finds the spear and defeats the lion dragging him. After this, Prithviraj stands up but faints from exhaustion after fighting all the lions. A few years earlier, in a place called Kannauj, there was a princess named Sanyogita. She was the daughter of General Jayachand. Sanyogita and King Prithviraj of Ajmer were in love, even though they had never met. They only sent letters to each other, and Prithviraj would often send Sanyogita special gifts to show his feelings. One day, a man named Mir Hossain, who was the brother of King Ghori, visited Prithviraj's palace. Hossain told Prithviraj that he had run away from his brother's kingdom because he married a dancer named Chitralekha, and Ghori didn't like that. Their relationship had become bad after this, and Hossain needed Prithviraj's help to hide from Ghori's soldiers. At first, Prithviraj didn't want to get involved, but when he heard how much Hossain and Chitralekha loved each other, he agreed to help. He gave Hossain a place to stay and even visited him in his tent to make sure he was okay. However, Prithviraj's choice to help Hossain made King Ghori very angry, and this caused problems between Ghori's kingdom and Prithviraj's kingdom, Ajmer. Ghori sent his general, Qut, to Ajmer with a message. Ghori demanded that Prithviraj hand over Hossain. If Prithviraj refused, Ghori would attack Ajmer. When Qut arrived, he offered Prithviraj some land in return for giving Hossain back. But Prithviraj didn't need more land, and he refused to give up Hossain. There, Qut warned him that Ghori would attack Ajmer, but Prithviraj wasn't afraid. He said he was ready to fight Ghori if needed. The night before the battle, Prithviraj's soldiers gathered to talk about their war plans for the next day. But instead of focusing on the strategy, the soldiers started joking around, including Kaka Kanha, who was Chand's uncle and a general of Ajmer. Kaka was being punished by Prithviraj and had to wear an eye patch for the rest of his life because he had killed another general from Ajmer. When Prithviraj arrived, he told Kaka to take off his eye patch for the battle, knowing that Kaka was a skilled fighter. The next day, both the Ajmer and Ghori armies got ready for the fight. Soon, Ghori's troops began shooting thousands of arrows, but Ajmer's soldiers blocked them with their shields. After this, the 2 armies moved in closer for hand-to-hand combat. Prithviraj was seen fighting Ghori, while Hossain, who was fighting for Prithviraj, was hit by an arrow and fell. In the long duel between Prithviraj and Ghori, Prithviraj finally knocked Ghori down but decided to capture him as a prisoner instead of killing him. After the battle was won, Ajmer soldiers paid their final respects to Hossain. Meanwhile, Chand went to visit Ghori in prison and told him that Prithviraj would release him. Ghori was surprised and wondered why Prithviraj spared his life. Then, Chand explained that Prithviraj believed there was no honor in killing another king without a good reason. The next day, Ghori was brought to a trial in front of Prithviraj. Ghori said he would rather die than be set free by Prithviraj. But Prithviraj refused to kill him and decided to let Ghori go as planned. Prithviraj even gave Ghori a horse and supplies so he could return to his kingdom safely. Meanwhile, Jayachand, who had just finished a temple ritual, got news that Prithviraj would be crowned as the new king of Delhi. And Jayachand, who wanted that position for himself, took his army to Delhi. Then, he went to warn the king of Delhi that choosing Prithviraj as the new king was a mistake. But the king of Delhi was sure that Prithviraj was the best choice because he believed there was no king wiser than him. Hearing this, Jayachand became furious and promised to take over Delhi from Prithviraj. The next day, Sanyogita wrote a letter congratulating Prithviraj on becoming the new king of Delhi. In Delhi, the coronation ceremony for Prithviraj started, and everyone was happy to see him crowned as king. During the celebration, a soldier announced that Jayachand's brother had arrived to speak with Prithviraj. This made the mood tense because Jayachand was against Prithviraj becoming the king. That night, Jayachand's brother, Purohit, met with Prithviraj and delivered Jayachand's message. At that time, Jayachand demanded that Prithviraj give him 50% of the taxes from Delhi. However, Prithviraj found this demand unfair and refused. Purohit quickly returned to Kannauj to tell Jayachand the news. Sometime later, Jayachand held a meeting with his officials to talk about how Prithviraj refused his request for taxes from Delhi. During the meeting, Jayachand came up with a plan to hurt Prithviraj by organizing a Svayamvara, which was a tradition where Sanyogita would have to choose a man to marry. At that moment, Jayachand purposely didn't invite Prithviraj so that his daughter couldn't pick him. One of the royal advisors, knowing about this, told Jayachand that if he didn't invite Prithviraj, he must at least put a statue of Prithviraj at the royal gate. This was a rule passed down by their ancestors, so Jayachand agreed to do it. When Sanyogita found out her father didn't invite Prithviraj, she went to him and said she wouldn't let him choose a husband for her if she didn't love the man. Sanyogita believed that women had the right to choose their own lives, including who they would marry. Even though Jayachand knew Sanyogita loved Prithviraj, he refused to let her choose him and decided to continue with the Svayamvara as planned. On the day of the Svayamvara, many princes and kings from different regions arrived to attend the event. Sanyogita, after getting ready, came out of her room holding a garland of flowers that she would place on the man she chose. But in front of all the kings and princes, Sanyogita suddenly announced that she wouldn't choose any of them. Without Jayachand's permission, Sanyogita walked up to Prithviraj's statue and placed the flower garland on it, choosing Prithviraj as her husband. This made Jayachand extremely angry, and he was about to punish his daughter. But just in time, Prithviraj and his soldiers arrived. Seeing that Sanyogita had chosen him, Prithviraj quickly took her and her servants away to his palace in Delhi. After this, Jayachand wanted to start a war with Prithviraj to stop the marriage. However, his wife reminded him that the Svayamvara was a sacred tradition, and Sanyogita had the right to marry Prithviraj. Even though his wife tried to calm him down, Jayachand still couldn't accept it and decided to take revenge on Prithviraj. A few days later, Prithviraj and Sanyogita's wedding was held with great celebration in Delhi, though Sanyogita's parents didn't attend. Despite this, Sanyogita was happy because she got to marry the man she loved. One day, Chand and Kaka were having a private conversation. During their talk, Chand shared a prediction that Kaka would fall and that Prithviraj's kingdom might collapse in the future. The next day, Jayachand decided to attack Prithviraj's kingdom and sent his best warriors to attack Gopur Fort, which was part of Prithviraj's territory. When Kaka and some of the Delhi soldiers learned about the attack on Gopur Fort, they quickly held an emergency meeting. The generals were unsure what to do because Prithviraj and Sanyogita were in the temple for a ritual and they didn't want to disturb them. So, Kaka took the lead and decided to command the troops to defend Gopur Fort against Jayachand's army. When Kaka and his soldiers arrived at Gopur Fort, the two armies fought for several days. Many soldiers from both sides died, trying to protect their kingdoms. Just as Kaka's troops were close to winning, Kaka was hit by many arrows. Despite being wounded, he tried to stay strong and fought against Jayachand's officer. But as he started losing blood, Kaka's strength weakened, and he was killed with a spear. Before he died, Kaka managed to break the spear and kill Jayachand's officer as well. When Prithviraj returned from the temple, he was shocked to hear about the battle and Kaka's death, along with the loss of many soldiers. Prithviraj was deeply saddened to lose one of his best generals, who had always fought to protect the kingdom. Though Prithviraj wanted to attack Jayachand, he decided not to after learning that Kaka's last wish was for Prithviraj to forgive Jayachand. The next day, Jayachand, the king of Kannauj, called a merchant from Delhi named Baluk Rai and asked for his help. He wanted Baluk to deliver a message to Ghori, offering a deal to capture Prithviraj. At that time, Jayachan promised that if Ghori could capture the king of Delhi, he would give Ghori anything he wanted in return. Meanwhile, Prithviraj had a meeting with the royal council and Sanyogita. He wanted to give Sanyogita the title of queen. However, the council disagreed because no king's wife had ever been given such a high title before. But Prithviraj explained that women play a very important role in society, and by making Sanyogita the queen, he hoped it would help make Delhi stronger. At Ghori's palace, Baluk met with Ghori and delivered Jayachan's message. Since Ghori still held a grudge against Prithviraj, he accepted Jayachan's offer to work together. Without wasting time, Ghori sent his general, Kut, to Delhi. Kut delivered a message from Ghori, asking Prithviraj to agree to serve under Ghori's rule. If Prithviraj refused, Ghori would declare war on Delhi. Prithviraj, who didn't want to submit to Ghori, chose to fight against him instead. On the day of the battle between Ghori's army and the soldiers of Prithviraj, Ghori's army was defeated by Prithviraj's troops. Seeing that his army couldn't win, Ghori came up with a sneaky plan to attack Prithviraj's soldiers at night while they were sleeping. Soon after, Kut and his troops quietly sneaked into Prithviraj's camp and began killing the Delhi soldiers one by one. Then, Kut set fire to the camp, burning many of Prithviraj's soldiers. When Prithviraj and Chand found out, they tried to fight back, but Kut had taken some Delhi soldiers as hostages. Not wanting to lose more of his soldiers, Prithviraj chose to surrender and was captured by Kut. The news of Prithviraj's defeat quickly reached Sanyogita in the kingdom. When she heard that Ghori's army would capture her and the other women, Sanyogita, along with all the women in Delhi, decided to perform Jauhar, a tragic act where they chose to hurt themselves rather than be captured. Meanwhile, even though Ghori had captured Prithviraj and Chand, he broke his promise to Jayachan and refused to hand Prithviraj over. This left Jayachan angry and frustrated, as he had lost his kingdom to Ghori and lost Sanyogita, who had chosen to do the Jauhar. After Ghori took over Delhi, he tied up Prithviraj in front of the people and ordered his soldiers to blind him. Later, when Ghori visited Chand in prison, he told Chand about the cruel things he had done to Prithviraj. But Chand said Prithviraj was not a weak king. He even challenged Ghori's soldiers to fight Prithviraj, but only if they made noise during the fight. Accepting the challenge, Ghori put Prithviraj in the arena to fight his royal pet lion. Before the lion was released, Prithviraj asked Ghori to let Chand help by reciting verses. Turns out, Prithviraj's plan worked, and he managed to defeat the lions, although he fainted afterward. The next day, Prithviraj was placed in the arena again, this time with a bow and a few arrows to face two opponents. Ghori said if Prithviraj killed one of them, he would be set free. Then, Prithviraj boldly replied that he only needed one arrow to face Ghori himself. In front of all Ghori's people, Prithviraj broke some of his arrows and left just one. At that time, Prithviraj's bravery impressed everyone watching, and Ghori, feeling insulted, accepted the challenge and entered the arena on horseback with a spear. Soon after, Prithviraj, using his sharp hearing, dodged Ghori's spear. As Ghori prepared to attack again, Chand recited his verses, guiding Prithviraj. Following Chand's direction, Prithviraj shot his single arrow, which hit Ghori. There, Chand was happy to see Prithviraj successfully defeat Ghori. But when he went down to the arena to celebrate Prithviraj's victory, both of them were suddenly shot by dozens of arrows, and they died. However, the soldiers of Prithviraj who had been captured by Ghori were finally set free, as promised in the agreement between Prithviraj and Ghori. The soldiers then took the bodies of Prithviraj and Chand back to Delhi for a proper funeral. At the end of the story, a note appears explaining that Prithviraj was the last Hindu king of Delhi before the Islamic conquest, which ruled India for almost 565 years until 1757. Prithviraj's sacrifice is seen as inspiring the Indian people, who eventually gained independence from foreign rule in 1947. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is if you see a statue at a wedding, don't be surprised if someone marries it.